Good morning and welcome to your success coach. And we're talking today to Juanita Duke. Welcome, Juanita.
Thank you.
Now, you're a wealth coach with us. So you talk about the four categories of investing. So I'm going to start off with the first one, which is business. And you've got a lot of experience as a business owner. So do you want to tell us a little bit about some of your businesses you've had and still have?
Yeah, certainly. I have a lot of experience of business, both on the corporate end, having been an employee, having been a corporate trainer, a sales trainer, human resources trainer. So I kind of come from that training background and business background. And I guess that's where I learned a lot about business. And then I began starting my own businesses. Mainly they were dog related because that's my passion. So I've had a dog walking service, I've owned a doggy daycare, dog training business. Really in that space, it has been kind of what I've concentrated on. But I've experience of starting a business from scratch and building it up to the point of being able to sell it for a substantial amount of money, because I always like to go in with an exit strategy in mind, because I think that's the best way when you kind of
Well, that's the key with most businesses. You really make your money when you sell it at the end,
yeah,
don't you?
yeah. So and I enjoy that. So that's it. That's a very enjoyable challenge.
And now I know we were talking the other day, you've actually got an online business as well where you have a training course. And again, that's built around your love of dogs.
Yeah, because we've had this discussion before about multiple streams of income, and there's 8 different types, and I currently have 6 of the 8 multiple streams of income. So I've got like dog training courses that are on Evergreen that people can just click on and buy. You do the work once, and then it sells for
Yeah.
eternity, so long as it's kind of being promoted on the internet or whatever. So yeah, and I've also got a dog trick training membership, which again is kind of semi-passive, because I don't believe there's anything really that's completely passive. You have to put work in at some stage. But I have a tricks and treats club where I teach people how to teach their dogs how to do tricks, and that's a membership model. So people pay a monthly fee, and I kind of don't have a huge amount of work to do that once that's set up.
Yeah.
And then obviously I have my monthly masterminds, the Zero to Millionaire program with Karen Newton International, and that's kind of a mastermind monthly membership as well.
Yeah. And so the experience you've got in business is really very broad, and it's a lot of what we teach. So you've already got that experience in doing that.
Yeah.
The next area is property, and I know you have a rental property as well.
Yes, I do indeed. Yeah, I think having property, I think most wealthy people have property at some form or other within their portfolio, and that's something that I'm happy to invest in as well myself.
Yeah. So again, that's another one of your streams of income that
Yeah,
come in.
absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Rental income from property. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the third area we talk about, we tend to do quite a lot on shares,
Yes.
particularly on dividend shares.
Yeah. Well, dividend shares are probably my favorite share, because it's a very simple, low risk strategy. You're just selecting a share that is a very steady, has a history of being very steady over a long period of time, and has a history of paying out regular dividends, preferably monthly dividends. And then there's a strategy for reinvesting that dividend every month, so that eventually you start to get interest on your interest, compounding, the eighth wonder of the world, as Einstein described it as a paradigm.
Yeah.
It's a key strategy, and just sort of dividend shares are one of the easiest options to get started with, and one of my favorites.
Yeah, mine too, because when we talk about passive income, basically you do the research up front, you find the share, and then you just put your money in every month, and it more or less looks after itself.
Yeah, if you know what you're looking for when you're selecting this share in the first place, then once that's done, it is just a case of letting it sit and do its work.
Yeah. And then we come to bullion. Now I know that you invest in that.
Yeah, I like a little bit of bling.
And you like the I call them more like novelty. They're not really novelty ones. They're ones that are unique, that have the opportunity to be worth a little bit more. And as you talked about your passion for dogs, you've got silver bullion coins that are based around animals.
Yeah, well, they do just catch my eye when, when I'm going. I always buy my bullion on the first of the month. Every month, I just kind of get into that routine. It becomes a habit, and you don't have to think about it. And so, if I see something that comes up and it's got a little bit of a dog theme, I just pop that in as well because of the novelty value. It doesn't really cost you any more to buy that it does to buy maybe a Britannia or a Canadian maple or whatever. So I just think, oh, why not for a bit of a change? But I do, for me, the gold and silver is a long-term investment. It's not something that I buy thinking, I'll buy it this month and then sell it next month if the price goes up. For me, it's about I'm using it as a security, as a hedge against my other investments, and it's kind of for the future rather than the short term.
Yeah, and that's basically what we do with silver and bullion, and it's twofold because one, it gives us the opportunity to, as you say, hedge. So if you've got between 10 and 15% of your overall wealth in bullion, then you do protect when bullion goes up, when everything else goes down. But it's also not just a safety net. There are opportunities, like we were talking about those coins, because I have coins that I collect in the bullion range, and it's phenomenal. I was checking them just last week, and like I paid 20 to 25 pound for some of those coins, and they're already up at 50 or 60 pound, because they're limited edition and they grow. So there are two sides, if you like, to that kind of investing.
Yeah, absolutely. And even if the collectibles element of it doesn't pan out, you've still got the value in the silver coin that was always there in the first place.
Yeah. So, what would you like to say to existing clients, potential clients about these 8 streams of income that we talk about?
I think the focus has to be for everybody getting started with investment is to get yourself as many different streams of income as you possibly can. Maybe try to find ones that work in harmony with the existing businesses that you've got, and get those working for you, and then use the income that you generate from those income streams to start your investing. And when you invest, to try to invest as safely as possible by balancing out your investments across the 4 categories of business, property, shares, and then the cash, sort of the bullion, the peer-to-peer lending, those sorts of opportunities as well.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I find it interesting when I hear people talk about being investors. And I mean, we teach, you do go into 4 totally different categories because there's always one going up and the other going down, where the economy's doing. But I see people who say, I'm diversified, but they're all in shares, or they're all in property, or they're all in business. And if business collapses, they're finding themselves in trouble. If shares collapse, they find themselves in trouble. So making sure that you've got that spread, that balance within everything is really the key of what we teach.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I'd like to thank you for giving us some words of wisdom there. It's great to see. I think it's good for people to see that you do invest in everything that you teach.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you have to kind of walk the talk. There's not much point just teaching something if you're not actually living it and experiencing it yourself.
Yeah.
So that's my philosophy on it.
No, that's fantastic. So Juanita, I'd like to thank you for giving us some words of wisdom today. I
Thank
know
you.
that's your Wednesday blog that you do, isn't it?
Of Wealth Wisdom is my regular slot that I do. Yes, try to share a little bit of value for people on a weekly basis.
Great. Thanks very much. Fantastic talking to you today.
Thanks, Karen.